Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today, we've got a little bit of a different video for you, because as you may have guessed, Nintendo, the other day, at the time of recording this one's actually coming out a couple days after being recorded, but anyways, Nintendo, they dropped a Nintendo Direct, which had a number of things in it. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but the thing that excited me most personally was an announcement for a game that they called, it's a working title, but called Project Triangle Strategy. Now, I was very excited about this. I saw this and I'm like, wow, this looks a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. I never played Tactics, but I did play Advanced, and I really enjoyed that game. They're both very similar, style-wise at least, from everything I've heard, because I do know some people who have played both. So I decided I would, and I saw that they had a demo, so I decided I'd check it out. So I played it, and I know they are looking for feedback. With any luck, some of the guys watching that will actually end up watching this video, which would be really cool. But yeah, I'm going to give my thoughts, my opinions on what I thought about the game. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, or the demo, I guess, because it's definitely not the game. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. So here's what I thought. So I downloaded it. It is, of course, a free download. And I got to watching the story in the back and all that. It dropped you about halfway in-ish from what they say. It was chapter 6 is where we started. And there's a lot of recap story stuff that they tell you to try and catch you up. They don't really tell you all of what happened before, but it's pretty clear that they don't, based off of some of the stuff that happens. But they tell you a little bit of it, and you sit through quite a lot of story. Then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I get. Then you get to like this little battle scene, and you get to watch another story. It's like, okay, this is a cool story. Am I gonna get to play anytime soon? That was actually a big thing I was feeling. By the time I actually gained control of anything, really, it was like I'd already been just sitting there for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I really enjoy a good story in my RPG games, and that's something I'm glad that it has, because the story is great, but it was a lot, especially for just sitting down. Like, I would have really wished to have jumped in and started playing a little sooner than I did. Hopefully that was, some of that had to do with the fact that, it is a demo version and they are starting you part way through, so they had a little bit extra catch up they had to do. Hopefully that was part of it. So hopefully that was part of, like I said, hopefully that was part of what was going on. Hopefully we don't have a whole bunch of long story sections, which it did seem to get better as I played. So that does seem to be the case. Now, once I did start playing, I did have some confusion as I was playing, not related to the story. One thing that really confused me is when I finally got into battle, it had an encampment option. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can go to encampment, which is weird that you can do that at the battle. Although it doesn't seem you can buy stuff at that time. A lot of the options seem to be disabled, which confused me, especially seeing as I wasn't aware of the encampment option prior to that. So hopefully in the actual game, they like make you aware of this, not just when you jump into battle. Yeah. Also, when I did my first exploration phase, I was walking around and everything went pretty good for the most part. The biggest issue I had was the direction you're facing wasn't as prevalent as I was hoping. There was an issue, like, it was more of an annoyance. Like, I climbed a ladder up to like an upper area of the place, and then I went to go search around, and I'm not even facing the ladder, and it's like, oh, you're trying to go down? So I climbed down. I'm like, I didn't want to climb down. I have to reclimb back up. This is super annoying. It'd be really nice if it knew which way I was facing, and like if I'm facing the complete opposite direction, like not have me go back down the ladder. That'd be real nice. So yeah. Um, uh, let's see. Then when I finally did get into battle, that was my biggest gripe with that one. Then when I did get into battle with the first one, um, one of the things, like, part of it was I was kind of lost because, they're doing all this story stuff. They're introducing a million characters all at once, which I'm sure is not a problem in the actual game. I'm sure it was more of the fact that it was a demo that's dumping you halfway into the story. But the game objective was to keep a certain character alive. That was like one thing you had to do. And I think I forgot which character that was, and I couldn't really, and I didn't have a way of checking on it. It would be really nice if there was a way to, like, find like a menu screen where I can like back out. I know in Tactics Advanced they had something like that, where you could actually like exit out from your general turn order and like just look at what the objectives are and all that stuff. It would be really cool if they had a way to do that in this, because as far as I could find, there wasn't one in Project Triangle Strategy. So it'd be really nice if they could implement that like they did in Tactics Advanced, so that I could actually see, oh, this is the character that I'm supposed to be keeping alive. Okay, now I can go take a look at him and make sure everything's good. Oh, and another thing is, like, there was like a troop positioning thing, but it didn't seem like I could actually do anything with it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you can change where people start out, but you actually can't. It's like, great, thanks. At least that was how it felt to me. If there's a way to do it, I wasn't able to see it. So yeah. Um, but the battle went pretty smoothly for the most part. I didn't have too much issues with that first fight. I found it relatively straightforward. I just knew what was going on. I used some strategies and was able to defeat it pretty easily. Now, I think I did almost lose due to the fact that I had forgotten who the character I was supposed to be keeping alive for a while was. So he did end up almost dying. But luckily, the enemy decided not to attack him on one turn, and I was able to go in and heal him, and that was good. But that I did get a little bit lucky. But that was more my fault than anything, at least strategy-wise. The only gripe with the game that I had on that was that it didn't really give me a way of checking to see which character I needed to keep alive. Yeah, like once the battle started, like before the battle it told me, but I had no way of checking once the battle had started, which was unfortunate. Yeah, anyways, then there was some more stuff. I really did like the system for the whole waiting, having everyone vote, and I really like the scales of conviction mechanic that came in later. I don't really have any real gripes with that. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked how, like, you only you could see, where everybody was. A little bit more of a tutorial would have been nice, but on a couple things, but I did end up figuring it all out, so it wasn't a huge issue. Like, I didn't realize that it listed where everybody sat at the start. So I did not, I was not aware of that much, and I figured that out good ways in. It ended up not mattering too much, but yeah. Another thing, so then when I did get to the final fight in the game, because there's only two in the demo, that fight was rough. I know they scaled everything up, but it was a rough fight. When things really started going bad for me is I set up a move where I'm like, oh yeah, I can attack this guy, and then one of my other guys will also attack him. And then my other guy didn't attack him, and I don't understand why he didn't attack him. So I was expecting it, and then immediately after, like, the enemies just started doing that to me. Like, they'd attack me, and then another guy would attack me, and I just got bombarded by just so many attacks, and I ended up losing like two of my main attackers within like a couple of turns because of that. And that's when things really started turning around for me and made it so that I was not doing well. So I don't understand why that happened at all. So it'd be real nice if they could like clear that up and explain why. Was it because this character was more of a mage and they were attacking in melee? Does that not trigger counterattacks from other people? I don't understand that. So it'd be really nice if they could explain exactly how all that works more, because I didn't understand why that was happening, and not knowing why things are happening really messes with your ability to strategize. I did end up winning that fight, however, mostly because of another issue that I had that worked in my favor this time. So the fight was going terribly. I lost basically everybody. I just had one guy left, but it was the archer girl who has like the eagle or whatever it is she has, and well, there's a lot of cheese potential. I was smart and kept her up on the rooftops up at the top, and well, the fact that nobody was able to reach her on those rooftops made it so that they just kind of sat by and literally did nothing. And there were a couple of guys in her range, so she just took pot shots at them. Just every turn, she'd just shoot at them, do nothing else, and ended up taking down like the boss lady and then like a few other people just by spending like 5-6 turns just taking pot shots while they did nothing. Um, so yeah, that was something that was way too cheesy. You would think that some of these guys would come and try and do something. Like there were archers that were still around and they weren't making a move. Like they weren't advancing in to try and like get close enough to attack me or anything. Like you would think they would be, but they weren't. So the AI not so bright. Um, then once but anyways, once everyone was that was in range of my bow fell, I went and attacked everybody that wasn't in range of the bow. So I'd move down off the rooftop and start. I got one attack in, and then everyone started advancing on me, and I think I might have got taken a hit or two. But then flew back on the rooftop, started firing at everybody again, and because a few new people had came in range, and yeah, it was just a really big cheese strategy. I didn't it didn't feel earned at all. It felt like I was just cheesing the crap out of that fight. Like I basically had lost that fight due to things that I didn't understand before. But then I ended up winning due to some cheese. At least that's how I felt. So there's that. Another thing that they really needed to explain better was I forget what it was, but I think it's like something points, like they had like these little stars. From what I couldn't understand how that system worked. I'm just like, well, sometimes they can do moves, sometimes they can't, and I didn't really understand like why that was the case. Um, Now by the time I finished the demo, I think I figured it out. I think what it is you gain one of those per turn, and you can then spend some. I believe that's how it works. Um, but they didn't make it real clear, and I was about halfway through that second fight before I figured it out. So if they could put, a little bit of a tutorial, like just explaining that much, you don't need much, just explain, hey, you get one of these every turn. That'd be real nice. And preferably with how much stuff is involved, if they would, explain like one element at a time, keep it real simple and basic at the start. Like, I don't know what their plans are for the beginning of the game, but I'm hoping that since there is a lot and it is really involved, which is great. I love that it is super involved, but they keep it simple at first and like start out with like maybe 1 to 3 elements and then like add them one at a time as the game goes on. That would be really, really awesome if they really explained each one. Because if you just throw all of it out there and then like at the start and then try and explain one, you're going to get bored. Trying to remember all that when you just want to play, like, no, like keep the game simple at the start and then slowly move. Hopefully that's what they do. Yeah, but all in all, I really enjoyed the game. Like, I didn't have any issues with it. Well, I mean, I had some issues, but I was looking forward to it. It didn't disappoint. Yeah, it really reminded me of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which is one of my favorite games of all time. So, yeah, if they could keep that up, that would be awesome. Now, I would really, I don't know if there's the RPG elements that Tactics Advance had. It didn't seem to have that. Like, it just seemed that the characters were pretty flat, and that, like, as they, leveled up, they just gained moves, which was fine and all. But an RPG element would be nice to, like, be able to choose how characters, like, advance and evolve. And if you want to keep with the project, with your normal stuff, like, you could even make it so that, like, your main character, um, that you can, like, kind of freely control what he's going to do, but maybe the other party members you can't freely control. Like, you can influence it, and there's things you can do to make them take certain options. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool if there was some, like, class options and whatnot, and, like, you could, like, influence your other party members to get them to go certain directions. Be like, hey, that your lance works pretty good. Maybe you could try learning some magic. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but it would be. I would like to see that. It's fine if they don't, though. Another thing that they had. There's just so much in this game that there's a lot to unpack. So when you went to the start, at some point, like, they take you to, like, a map menu. I didn't really understand how that worked at first. I still don't fully understand it, but apparently they have, like, a red exclamation mark for, like, where you're supposed to go next, and then, like, they have green exclamation marks for, like, little, like, side events that you can watch, that aren't actually necessary to watch. Some of them, like, you can actually gain important information, which affects things. So it's probably a good idea to watch them all. I don't know if it hurts to watch them, like, if skipping them could also be beneficial in certain ways. I don't know. I don't really understand how that works. It would be nice to know how that works a little, and hopefully you don't get punished at all for watching them. Like, for ones, like, for watching all of them. Like, maybe it's better to just watch certain ones. Although maybe that'd be cool too. I don't know. It could be interesting. But it would be nice if I had the tutorial to know about how that worked beforehand. Because I didn't realize that till about halfway through the demo. And yeah. So it would have been nice to have known from the beginning. And then, like, later in the demo, there were 2 red exclamation marks. And I'm like, which one do I go to? I don't know. I don't know how this is going to affect things. So I went to the one, like, because I like to be a completionist. I like to watch everything, and I like to not miss any piece of info or any of that fun stuff. But I like that you don't have to as well. But I do like that as an option, and it'd be nice to know, like, how to know that that's a system. And when there's 2 different exclamation marks, like, does it matter which order? I don't know. Like, it'd be real, or if I click the wrong one, will I miss something? Like, it'd just be really nice if they could clarify that. Yeah, or if there is an important order, like which one do you click? That affects how the game goes. Like, that'd be cool. But it'd be nice to, like, know that that's what's going on, like, that's a choice I'm making. So yeah, it's a great game all in all. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully they come out with hopefully they fix a lot of these issues when they come out with the actual game. I think it's coming out next year, so we got a little while, which is good because that gives them time to work on some of this. And the camera angles were weird. Like, I like that you could freely control the camera, but sometimes it would get in weird positions, and it's like, I just wish I could go back to the default one. So a button to go back to, like, your default camera position would be nice. So that would be cool. Sorry, I'm just thinking about more things that bugged me when I was playing it. So yeah, that's what I've got on that. Hopefully they come out with a decent number of fixes for a number of these things. Hopefully they come up with a better name, because Project Triangle Strategy it's kind of cool, but it would be better if it wasn't. They really want marketing, try and call it Final Fantasy Tactics might be a good idea. Throw that in there. Final Fantasy Tactics Switch. I don't know. That could be a thing. I don't know if that's what they're going to call it. They could, maybe. I mean, it is by SquareSync, so it's definitely conceivable that they can get the rights to the name Final Fantasy, um, since that is a Square property, if I recall. So yeah, that's mostly all I have to say. Hope let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I definitely love to hear from you, and in the off chance the developers actually watch this video, maybe they'll read the comments and get see what it is. Which I don't know how off of a chance it is. My guess is they probably are actually looking for videos like this. They probably are looking for feedback in the community. So at least from what they showed. So if you are from the dev team on that, drop a comment. I'd definitely love to know you guys are watching if you are. So yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel. I mostly do D&D 3.5 stuff, but I throw in stuff like this every now and then because I am a big fan of this kind of stuff. Ring that notification bell for more videos like this, or just more videos. Not too many like this, in all honesty. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you